Okay, here I am again, Carl Straub. I'll duck down so you see that I am a functioning human with a functioning head. Alright, but we're going to be looking at the guitar today and not me. And this is Blues Language 101 Part 2. Part 2 because we looked at minor pentatonic-based stuff last time and there was a lot of vocabulary there. The major pentatonic side is interesting and important, but there's a little bit less going on there in my view than the minor pentatonic side. You have fewer options. You don't have the between the cracks notes that give you a lot of different flavors you can use. It's a little bit more limited, but it's a great sound, and sometimes you want it, and sometimes it's the right thing. Okay, the major pentatonic scale is like this, just like the beginning of My Girl. Okay, but here we have this. Okay, when we were talking about minor pentatonic, we were trying to avoid the major third. We didn't want that. We would bend sometimes not quite up to it, like this. We usually wouldn't bend to it, or we wouldn't bend to it. But if we're getting a major pentatonic kind of a sound, we do want to bend to it, or slide to it, or hammer on it. Basically, you want to slur into it, and a grace note is effective from a half step below. But you can also do it from a whole step below, and it sounds a little different, like this. Okay, that's not really a B.B. King sound there so much. To me, it sounds more like a country thing, but it's going to work for something, and it's up to you as to when you use it. Now, if you do the same kind of lick up here, now it sounds like B.B. King. And one of the ways to make it sound like B.B. King is to put vibrato on the note that you resolve to. So here's the bent note. Usually B.B. King would not put vibrato on a bent note. He wouldn't go. But I have seen some examples of it in his early days, or I've heard examples where he would bend and then put vibrato on, but he didn't do it. He didn't put that extreme B.B. King vibrato on a bent note. I think his attitude was it just doesn't sound right to him, and he rarely does that, has rarely done that since the early days. My theory is that what he's hearing there is that those resolution notes like this sounds kind of dead without some kind of, I mean, it doesn't really sound much like the blues, but if you put vibrato on it, make it shake a little bit, now you're getting somewhere. You know, that sounds very B.B. King. I would argue that's probably the single thing that sounds the most like B.B. King of anything. You hear that and you think, oh, B.B. King, okay. So anyway, there's another one here. Now you put that vibrato on there, sounds cool, but if you go, it sounds dead. Okay, that stuff you can do there. This other position is good too. That didn't sound like B.B. King the way I played that, but this is a B.B. King position he likes. It's just like this. Or that's very B.B. King. So basically what we were doing is bending or slurring in some way up to the major third, and we like that sound in a major pentatonic kind of setting. Moving back to this position, the E shape, we've got the 6 of the scale that can bend to the flat 7, and that sounds pretty good. Again, because the flat 7 by itself sounds kind of dull. That sounds exciting. It sounds like there's something going on there. Okay. And then, now this is an interesting thing he does. This is a tough bend, but he goes. That's bending. It's just like this. But that's easier to do on a G string. On a high E, you really got to put some gusto into it to get that in tune. It's working for me right now because I've been doing it all morning, but normally I'd have trouble with that bend and I would avoid it. That sounds very B.B. King. Okay. Let's see. I think we covered most of the stuff we were going to talk about. Let me review this stuff a little bit. Basically, you like that third, but you like to slur into it. Or okay. The 6 to the flat 7 is good too. And then the 2 up to the 3. Or sharp 2 up to 3. A lot easier to play, but it doesn't have the intensity of. That's good, but you know, the point is they're both good. You can use them for different things. Okay, there you have it. Major pentatonic-based blues stuff. A little bit of B.B. King in there.